And finally, pictures that tell a story. You know, you may or may not know this is an acorn woodpecker. You may or may not know where it lives, but you can just tell by looking at the photo that it's caching acorns for later in this granary. This is the photo that went viral or whatever and got 10,000 views on Facebook. Golden eagle returned to the wild after an injury, treated at the Lindsay Wildlife Museum. Individualism. And again with the acorns. You know, I went back to Bryce Canyon, Utah about 4 years ago seeking inspiration, and I really found it. It changed my life. And the last thing I just want to share about photography is this is a view across the street from the lodge. It's actually across the street from where the Utah Prairie Dog sign used to stand. And I would just say, you know, no matter how beautiful the thing is that you're looking at, you know, you're looking at a double rainbow, it seems idyllic. You know, look around you because the sun might just be setting at your back. Thank you so much. So I'm wondering if anybody has questions. Sharon?
So what do they actually eat?
They eat plants, mostly grasses and shrubs and flowers, but they're not like gophers. They don't pull them down from the root. They just give them a haircut, like they prune them. I think that's partially because they want to see. And one of the arguments in favor of conservation is the fact that some people believe that, or some researchers have found that by mowing the tips of the plants off, they're actually leaving the more protein-rich bottom of the plant for the livestock to graze on.
What is their burrow like? How big is it? And how many live in one?
That's a good question. Well, their burrows are sort of complex. You know, nobody really knows how deep they go. They think it might be as deep as 12 or 15 feet. Gophers go much deeper and further, and they have like, from what they understand, they have like chambers. So there might be a natal chamber here or a waist chamber here. I asked John Hoagland about that, and they've tried to excavate them, but they just collapse and things like that. I don't know if they've used fiber optics, but one difference between prairie dogs too is the way they construct their burrows. I had some digging shots I almost showed, but they're a little hard to see in the spring with the red soil and the red prairie dogs. But the black-tailed prairie dog does the shield-like, kind of volcano-like hole. These Utah prairie dogs, it can just be a drop-off. They're about this big around, so the prairie dog will fit in, but also a ferret will fit in. I don't think there are ferrets in Utah, but they're one of our most endangered predators in North America, or at least they were before reintroduction programs, and all they eat are black-tailed prairie dogs. Okay.
Do they interconnect? Do they have little tunnels to other prairie dog homes?
Yeah, I'm not sure if they connect or not. I do know that one clan or one family will have different entrances and exits to their system, but I don't know if their system is connected to another family. And this colony, to answer your question about how many prairie dogs there were, I think there were about 100 adults at this colony. And then, you know, you get a boom with all the babies, and then a lot don't make it through the winter. And so it's always a great surprise when they dig their way out in the winter time, and they read their ear tag. Oh, number R12, so great to see you again. I'm so glad you made it. You know, and they really greet each prairie dog with a lot of fanfare when they come out. Richard?
Any idea what the total population of Utah prairie dogs is?
Yeah, I meant to mention that. Well, they never had the big numbers like the millions that Lewis and Clark saw. They only live in the southwestern corner of Utah, and they think historically there are about 95,000. And I think a census from 2 or 3 years ago, when the book was written, it's a big plus or minus, but said there are between 3,000 and 13,000 remaining. Usually when we talk about prairie dogs, we talk about all 5 species of prairie dogs, and there's an endangered Mexican species as well. And we just basically say that about 2% of prairie dogs remain. About 98% have been eradicated or died of the plague.
What's the relative sizes of all the, are they,
The Utah
Roughly.
prairie dog is the smallest. It's like about a foot high.
mhm,
I've only seen black-tailed prairie dogs in zoos and they're fatties, so I
yeah.
don't really know, but they're noticeably bigger.
Yeah.
And if we go back here, I could show you. Yeah, it's pretty petite. It just seems like they're bulkier, and the black-taileds. The black-tailed and the Mexican prairie dog are very close. They both have black tails, and they think that they may have even come from the same ancestors. The Gunnison's prairie dog, the white-tailed prairie dog, and the Utah prairie dog all have the white tails, and they're sort of seen as their own.
What's their lifespan under normal conditions?
Well, the prairie dog, I actually got a photo of her. Her name was BB9, and she was the oldest known living prairie dog. She was at this colony, and I was there for the researcher's final year there, and that year she was 9.
Wow.
And we don't know because he moved and did a different species of prairie dog the next year. The professor tends to spend 10 years or so with each kind of prairie dog. He rotates, and so now he's in his 40-something year, and I think he's doing Gunnison's prairie dogs now. Liz.
Yeah, after all that observing, coming into it as a new person and being new to prairie dogs, what was one of the most striking moments, in just in terms of their behavior or a certain feeling for the animal that hit you?
Probably the communal nursing, because I don't know too many mammals that will give their breast milk to another mammal. It's I think it occurs, I know there's communal nesting. Rusty could probably talk about
The
it.
lions do it, apparently.
Oh, lions do it?
Yeah.
Communal nursing, and also what really made a big impression on me was the predations. I don't know, it was just very exciting. You know, I'm a vegetarian, and I was actually sort of squeamish. I wasn't, I was expecting to shy away from it. But the fact that I really put a lot of focus on the predators, there's just something about that moment. I mean, a fox has got to eat, and there's just something very intense about being there at the last moment of a being's life. One other thing that John Hoagland actually studies quite in depth, and I had taken a break and come home for a couple weeks during that time, is infanticide. In his talk, he talks a lot about that, and that occurs before the babies start coming up in spring. And I saw photos of it, and I think if I had been there, I wonder how I would have handled it. I probably would have put everything aside and thought, well, this is just part of the story. But it's part of nature. But those really struck me. Charlie.
I just wondered if you were able to send Amazon a note about their advertisement.
Yeah, it said if you see a problem with this advertisement, please contact us here, and I did. And then I didn't look at the site for a long time, and I went back, and I think it was there again or something, and then the author of the book. I'm listed on Amazon as an author because I'm on the cover and I'm a photographer, but and so is John Hoagland, who wrote the foreword. But yeah, I think they fixed it. I hope. I didn't check.
Yeah.
I haven't checked. I don't look at it that often, and I also want to promote local independent bookstores who carry the book and can order the book for you.
Right.
It's distributed through, I believe it's distributed through University of Chicago Press, so it is available also from the publisher, University of Utah Press.
And right here.
And right here. In fact, I love when I walked in, the prairie dog books were popping up, just like prairie dogs in the colony. I turn around, there's another one.
I think we have time for one last question, if anybody has one. It's where to get the books, it's at the registers.
Yeah. Well, if there are no more questions, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for coming. It really means a lot to me. This project, it's the first book I ever worked on, and it was just so gratifying when it came out, and I'll always remember all of you who came, so thank you.